Hello guys, hello students, welcome back to our lesson. In today's lesson, we're going to continue talking about the present, but we're going to emphasize or explain more about the present continuous. If you remember the previous lesson, we were discussing about present simple, and we said that we use the present simple to talk about routines and to talk about facts, right? In other words, we use the present simple to talk about the general present. So, present in general, in a very general way. And we mentioned that present simple does not indicate real present. It indicates general present. To indicate real present or what is happening in this right moment or at the moment of speaking, we use the present continuous. So let's see, when are we going to use present continuous, or how are we going to use the present continuous? Well, we use present continuous to talk about temporary activities in the present. Activities that occur in the present for a short period of time or that are in continuous form or in progression. They are occurring, right? So we can also use the present continuous to talk about real present, right? We talked about this the previous lesson, but let's concentrate some more about this now. For temporary activities, for example, we can say, this semester I'm taking only 3 classes. Check that the verb take is in continuous form because it has the gerund, ing. And I'm also converting the sentence in continuous because I'm using the verb to be. I'm taking. So, to express a temporary activity, this semester only, for a period of time, I'm taking only 3 classes. My family is visiting us this week. Another temporary activity or an activity that is happening for a period of time. We can also use it for real present and say, for example, that I'm taking my English class right now. I'm watching a video right now. I'm speaking in English in this moment. Alex is checking his phone for information, and the students are participating in English. So we use the present continuous to talk about what is happening in this moment. So the present continuous indicates an activity that occurs at the moment of speaking. So I say the sentence, and the sentence is happening in this right moment, in this very real present. We can also use the present continuous for future, but let's study that later today. Okay, present continuous. How do we form the present continuous, or how can we notice and understand that the sentence is present continuous? Well, the structure for present continuous is that we need a subject or a person doing the activity, right? Then we need to put verb to be. Remember that we conjugate verb to be depending on the person. So we can say I am, you are, he, she, Maria, my mom, Pedro, right? Is, they are, we are, and you are. We need to conjugate verb to be depending on the person. And then we include our verb or the main verb, the important action, but we put ing, right? That's how we do it, like in the examples before. I am speaking in English. Alex is checking his phone. Or we can say we are studying or we are watching a video right now. For the negative, we only include not after verb to be. So I'm not reading a book, right? And then we put the verb in ing. For the question, we start with verb to be and then the person. So we change the position of verb to be with the person. Are you studying French this semester? Are, verb to be, You, person, studying, verb in ing, and then we can put a complement. Are you studying French this semester? And those are the three main structures for present continuous. We can make our questions even more complex or ask for different information if we include at the beginning words like what, where, when, or why. So we can say, for example, what are you studying this semester? Where are you studying this year? Yes, when are your classes starting for this semester? So we can make our questions even more complex by adding WH questions at the beginning. Now, so let's make this clear. When we use present simple, we emphasize or we refer to routines or activities that occur generally in the present, but not necessarily in this right moment, right? And most of the time, we include adverbs of frequency to indicate how often the activities occur. So every time you see an adverb of frequency in a sentence, you know that the sentence is present simple. Because most of the time, we only use adverbs of frequency with present simple. It's not common to use adverbs of frequency with continuous forms or any other tenses. So I never work on Wednesdays. Anna usually speaks in English. She teaches English all day, 6 days. I sometimes have lunch in a cafe. She always has a shower at night, every day. Those are examples of present simple and also are examples that indicate the frequency. Now, when we talk about the present continuous or activities that are occurring at the moment of speaking or for a period of time, we use ing and we also conjugate with verb to be, right? I'm working. But we also use words that help us indicate that the activity is occurring right now. So there are some phrases that most of the time we combine with the present continuous. And those phrases can be now, right now, at the moment, today, this semester, this week, this month, this year. So this semester I'm working on Wednesdays. I'm studying English now. I'm not having a shower at the moment. And today we're learning the difference between present simple and continuous. Right? So it's important that we remember that, because in case we are not sure about how to combine the different words, well, remember that adverbs of frequency go with present simple, and expressions like now, at the moment, today, they normally go with present continuous. Now, we also mentioned that another difference between present simple and present continuous, of course, is grammar, the structure. We can see that the verb in present continuous has ing, right? But it's also important that we remember that there are certain verbs that we need to be careful when we put ing or not. For the majority of the verbs, we can do that, right? In English, there are two types of verbs: state verbs and action verbs. Action verbs indicate movement or activities, right? And those verbs, most of the time, we can put them with ing. For example, play. Play, jump, read, watch, study, go. Those verbs are action verbs. They indicate movement, they indicate an activity, and because they indicate movement or an activity, those verbs can also indicate temporality or progression, or that they are occurring for a period of time. So they can be in continuous form. They can have ing. But there are other verbs that do not indicate action or or they do not indicate movement. Those are state verbs. And state verbs cannot be in progression. They cannot express temporality because they indicate a state, occurrence or not occurrence. They are like dichotomies, yes or no. We cannot indicate in the progress with them. It's yes or no, black and white, happening or not happening. And some of those verbs, for example, are know. We also have like, we have love, and we also have believe. Now, what's special about the state verbs? Remember, for state verbs, we cannot use ing because they do not indicate progression or continuous activity, temporality. Action verbs, yes, we can put ing. So for state verbs, because they describe permanent or absolute ideas, these types of verbs are not commonly found in continuous form. Verbs that describe mental states are state verbs, like believe, know, understand. So you understand or you don't understand. We don't say, I'm understanding the lesson. That's not correct, right? So you understand or you don't understand. Believe, I'm believing in God, right? No, you believe or you don't believe. It's not like you're in the process because it's a state. It's a complete thing, right? It's a permanent or absolute idea. Some verbs that describe emotion, like for example, like, love, hate, and want, they also cannot indicate temporality because they are absolute. You like or you don't like. You love or you don't love. Think about your mother. Think about your mother. You don't say, I'm loving my mother, right? Because when the moment you put ing in a verb and somebody hears your sentence, the person understands, okay, this is temporary, yeah, or it's happening only in this moment. So when you say, I'm loving my mother, we understand that it's temporary, that probably in an hour, probably tomorrow, probably in 2 days, this is going to stop. But we know that's not true because it's a state. You love or you don't love, right? Imagine you're in a restaurant and you're eating a hamburger and you like your hamburger very much. Probably you want to indicate that you like the hamburger in this right moment, like you like it very much in this moment. But you cannot say, I'm liking my hamburger, because it's not possible with like. Like is a state verb, and we don't put ing. How can you express that? Well, you need to use another verb. And the correct verb to express that is enjoy. So you can say, I'm enjoying my hamburger. It's so delicious, right? Think about it. Like, love, hate, want. It's not very possible that we put ing or we use them in continuous form. And finally, verbs connected with possession or permanent states cannot be in continuous form as well, like have, own, and be. Remember that. So that is important because, yes, we just put ing in the verb, but we cannot use ing with all the verbs. There are some verbs that cannot express continuous form, so we cannot use them in present continuous, right? So that's it for the present continuous. Remember, the present continuous is the real present. We use it to talk about real things and actions or events occurring at the moment of speaking, or that occur for a period of time, or that are temporary. That's how we use it. But we can also use the present continuous to talk about the future, right? So English can be a little bit complicated, right? We can use to talk about future. Now, you know that we express future in English with will. Like, will is the word that we learned like when we were in high school or in primary school to express the future. Yes, will express future or expresses future. But the type of future that we express with will, it's a prediction probably, or a very distant future. That's the type of future that we use with will. We can also express future in English with going to. And I think going to is going to help us understand how we use future with present continuous. With going to, we express plans for the future or intentions, things we want to do, right? So let's imagine, I'm going to give you some examples. With will, let's make a prediction about our future. I'm going to make a prediction about my future, okay? In 10 years, I think I will be traveling around the world, or I will travel around the world. In 10 years, I think I will have my house, and I think I will be married. Okay? So in 10 years. So this is a prediction. Like, probably it's not going to happen, or probably yes. But this is just a prediction about my future, probably a very distant future. Now, with going to, for example, it's for plans or intentions, something that you want to do, and you can make all the possible things for that to occur. So, this weekend, well, it's the birthday of my mother, and I want to celebrate my mother. So I'm going to buy a cake, right? So I'm using going to for an intention about the future, for something I want, a plan, which is buying a cake for my mother. Yeah. So I use the going to talk about my intention or my plan. That's how we use it. Now, the present continuous, it's more specific with the future. We use the present continuous for activities that first were a plan, but now they become an arrangement or something that it's very sure, very, very probable to occur because I have all the details, because other people are involved, other people have the information. So it's very, very probable and possible that they happen. Check my example. Remember my intention. I want to buy a cake, right? So I'm going to buy a cake. I'm going to buy a cake for my mother on Saturday. Yeah, that's my plan. But in this moment, I don't know the price. I don't know if I'm going to invite all the family, if many people are going to come, what we're going to eat, if we're going to make a party, etc. I don't have those details. But the moment I invite someone, I invite my relatives, I invite my friends, the moment I check the time for the party, the moment I check the food, the moment I check the price of the cake, all the plan becomes an arrangement. And when I talk about that future event now, if I have all the details, I prefer to use the present continuous. So now that it's very sure that we have the party on Saturday, because I invited people, because I have the food, because I have the cake now, I can say, for example, on Saturday, I'm celebrating, present continuous, I'm celebrating my mother with my friends, my family. We are eating pasta, we are eating cake, and we are having a nice time together. So I'm using the present continuous to talk about an event in the future that it's very sure, that it's very probable, that I have all the details, and that it's very likely that it's going to occur with the present continuous, right? So you can use the present continuous to talk about the future when the future is very close, or the details for the future are very clear and detailed. We call this an arrangement. So you have there some examples of the difference between the same activity but as a general future with will. I will travel to Mexico City. That's general future, that's a prediction. That same activity as a plan, probably not developed, probably not sure yet. I'm going to travel. with my family for the holidays. It's an intention, it's a plan. But the last example, it's not just an intention, but it's an arrangement with all the details, days, price, etc. Right? So I'm traveling to Mexico City next February with my family. So there are different ways in which we can express the future in English, and the present continuous is one of those ways we can express the future. Okay, guys, thank you very much for your attention. I hope you remember this and you also learn something new about the present